We're looking at 2 Corinthians, and we're looking at Paul writing about his character, about his collection, and then finally about his credentials. We're looking at a couple of those points right now in chapter 7 and 8. We start out in chapter 7, verse 8. For though I caused you sorrow by my letter, I did not regret it. Though I did regret it, for that I see that the letter caused you sorrow, though only for a while. I now rejoice, not that you were made sorrowful, but that you were made sorrowful to the point of repentance. For you were made sorrowful according to the will of God, so that you might not suffer loss in anything through us. For the sorrow that is according to the will of God produces a repentance without regret, leading to salvation, but the sorrow of the world produces death. I don't know whether you can remember back to when you first realized that it was your sin and my sin that placed Jesus on the cross of Calvary, but that was sorrow that led to repentance. And Paul sees that his letter to the Corinthians, 1 Corinthians obviously, not the 2 Corinthians we're in now, his letter caused them sorrow. He's sorry that they had to experience sorrow, but he's glad that they experienced sorrow that led to repentance. I think that's good for us to remember. Sometimes we have to say things to people that will cause them some sorrow. Now, if our causing them sorrow is for the purpose of bringing them to repentance and a right standing with God, then we may be sorry that we had to do that, but we shouldn't be sorry for the outcome. Some of the repentance that we find in the world produces death, but the sorrow of repentance to God brings about life and life eternal. The second Corinthians passage that I wanted to cover with you is 2 Corinthians 8, 1 through 3. And it has to do with giving. A few minutes ago I had the phone ring and it was a solicitation for funds. It was probably a good cause. But honestly and truly, there are so many good causes out there that I don't have enough resources to meet them all, or to even give a token gift to all of them. Plus, most of the time when it's a phone solicitation, I don't have any way of checking credibility or the effectiveness of what I might give in that organization. So basically I have a basic philosophy that says I don't accept any solicitations by phone. That if they'd like to send me written material so that I can evaluate the organization and what the money is going to be used for, can check them out on some of the giving sites to see that they use what they say they're getting for the cause that they say they're getting it for, if that makes any sense to you, then I might send them a gift. But here Paul is dealing with giving, and he's going to use the Macedonians as an example for those at Corinth. Now, every indication is that the Macedonians didn't have the means, that is, they didn't have the resources that the Corinthians did, that their financial state was not as strong as was the strength of the financial resources of the Corinthians. But we all know the widow's mite, and we all know that God doesn't look at the amount, but rather at the ability. And Paul covers that quite nicely here in 2 Corinthians 8, verses 1 through 3. He says, Now, brethren, we wish to make known to you the grace of God, which has been given in the churches of Macedonia, that in a great ordeal of affliction, their abundance of joy and their deep poverty overflowed into wealth of their liberality. For I testify that according to their ability and beyond their ability, they gave of their own accord. So Paul deals with three things. He deals with liberality, that is, liberality in perspective to what was available. He deals with ability, which is what was available, and he deals with willingly, when we give our gifts to the Lord, He doesn't weigh the amount of the gift, but whether we give liberally according to what we have, whether we give according to the ability that we have, and whether we do it willingly or under duress or pressure. I think it's important as we think about giving to remember the importance of giving to the causes that are edifying and glorifying to God, that are expressing our love of God and our love of others. And of course, the source that we're giving to, proven track record, if you will, or not proven track record of their ability to apply our gifts to the cause that we believe we're giving to. Liberally, according to our ability. Ability, according to what God's blessed us with. Willingness means not under duress or pressure. The Lord loves a cheerful giver. And I hope that you'll remember that. And I hope you also remember that when somebody brings sorrow into your life that brings about repentance to get you back on the right path, that you'll celebrate along with Paul, not happy that you were unhappy, or not happy because you made somebody else unhappy, but because it led to repentance, godly repentance, repentance that brings in a better relationship between person and God. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.